Watch the talkative man in any modern room. He is nervous. He is restless. His hands fidget, his eyes dart, and his mouth moves at breaking speed. The moment a question is thrown at him, he panics. He babbles. He over-explains. He bleeds information just to fill the silence. He is performing like a servant begging for validation from a master. Now, observe the dangerous individual. They do not rush. They do not flinch. They remain perfectly, terrifyingly still. We have been conditioned from childhood to believe that when a question is directed at us, we owe the room an immediate, transparent answer. This is a comforting lie created by fragile egos. The truth is, answering questions directly is strategic suicide. When you answer on demand, you strip yourself of mystery, you expose your emotional coordinates, and you willingly step into a cage built by someone else's curiosity. Today, we expose the architecture of verbal obedience. We will examine 4 escalating rules of weaponized ambiguity that separate the silent master from the talkative prey. You must pay absolute attention to the progression of these laws. While the first 3 protect your internal fortress, rule number 4 is a lethal offensive instrument. When we reach rule number 4, you will learn how to deploy a psychological weapon so heavy, it forces an aggressor to systematically dismantle their own self-esteem in public, while you remain completely mute. Rule number 1, the architecture of internal sovereignty. The masses live under the powerful delusion that immediate responsiveness proves competence. When someone asks them a question, an immediate alarm goes off in their nervous system. They feel an agonizing pressure to speak instantly. They mistake every conversation for a courtroom where they are on trial, forced to prove their honesty and value to whoever demands it. By opening the gates of their mind the exact second someone knocks, they commit strategic bankruptcy. They give away their private data for free, simply to feel accepted, simply to relieve the temporary tension of dead air. To understand this weakness, we must look at the human brain. When a question is asked and followed by silence, your amygdala, the brain's threat center, spikes with cortisol. Evolutionary psychology dictates that our ancient ancestors feared silence because it signaled rejection from the tribe, which meant death. The untrained mind still reacts to a pause as a physical threat. But an inquiry is almost never an innocent pursuit of knowledge. It is a territorial encroachment. Your mind is private property. When you provide a direct answer to satisfy your brain's anxiety, you allow a stranger to audit your internal wealth. The unspoken reality of human hierarchies is simple. Whoever dictates the questions, dictates the balance of power. You must override your amygdala and break the Pavlovian reflex of immediate obedience. Imagine you are at a family gathering or a corporate lunch, and a nosy colleague asks an intrusive financial question. So, how much money are you actually making from your side business? The weak man launches into an anxious explanation or a defensive lie. The stoic master does something completely different. You freeze your external movement. You let the question hang in the air for exactly 3 seconds. Do not look at their words. Look at their face. Stare directly into their eyes without blinking. Then, tilt your head slightly and say in a flat, calm tone, "Why do you ask?" Do not utter another syllable. Watch their face flush with adrenaline as they realize they have just been caught trespassing. Rule number 2, the anatomy of reconnaissance. Talkative people listen only to the surface syntax of words. When they hear a question, their anxious minds rush to construct an answer that satisfies the literal meaning of the sentence. They give comprehensive overviews. They provide detailed timelines. Their fatal mistake is assuming good faith in a world driven by self-interest. Because their brain is working so hard to speak, they suffer from high cognitive load. They are speaking so fast to prove their worth that they become completely blind to the trap being set beneath their feet. In the theater of human behavior, every question is a tactical reconnaissance mission. It is a psychological sonar pulse sent out into the dark to measure the depth of your defenses and map your emotional blind spots. The predator asking the question does not care about your story. They are monitoring your physiological markers. They are watching for the micro-expressions of hesitation on your face. They are listening for the vocal fry that signals insecurity. When you speak comprehensively, you are willingly handing over the blueprint to your emotional operating system. Once they hold that blueprint, they own your triggers. Step out of the light and become the nocturnal observer. Imagine you are sitting in a high-stakes salary negotiation, and the hiring manager asks, "We have candidates asking for much less. Why should we pay you this high rate?" The average person panics and begins desperately reciting their resume, begging for approval. You must refuse this game. When you speak, your brain cannot observe. So, stop speaking. Shift your entire focus to dissecting the physical anatomy of the interrogator. Why is their jaw clenched? Why did their posture shift? Treat their question as a specimen under a microscope. Delay your verbal output entirely. Let the silence stretch until the atmosphere becomes cold. By withholding your answer, you force their sonar pulse to bounce back and expose their own bluff before you offer a single drop of intelligence. Rule number 3, the impermeable shield of deflection. In competitive corporate environments or social hierarchies, questions are rarely questions. They are disguised weapons. They are passive-aggressive probes designed to bait your ego into a defensive posture. The untrained mind bites the hook instantly. The moment their character, their wardrobe, or their work is questioned, they explode into justification. They argue. They present logic and evidence to defend their honor. This is a catastrophic failure of discipline. By defending yourself directly, you step into the mud with your attacker. You validate their premise, and you show the entire room exactly where your armor can be pierced. To justify is to confess weakness. In psychological warfare, an immediate defense is an admission that the enemy's strike has landed. This is driven by emotional contagion, the psychological phenomenon where one person's aggression infects another person's nervous system. The attacker is not looking for facts. An attacker does not want your logic, they want your emotional bleeding. They want the dopamine hit of watching you lose your composure. When you provide a direct rebuttal, you supply them with the exact emotional oxygen they need to keep the fire burning. Construct an impermeable shield of verbal neutralization. This is not about staying silent. This is about using tactical ambiguity to disarm the arrow. Imagine you are at a dinner table, and a toxic friend asks a loaded question designed to humiliate you in public. Are you really wearing that to the event, or did you just give up on looking professional today? Do not explain your outfit. Do not get angry. Do not let their emotional contagion infect your blood. Become a freezing ocean swallowing a thrown stone. Look at them with absolute, detached boredom. Give them a chilling, emotionless non-answer that bounces the premise back. You seem deeply invested in my wardrobe. Then, calmly turn your head and take a sip of your drink. End the interaction entirely. You have stripped their weapon of its kinetic energy, leaving them standing alone in the spotlight, holding an empty blade. Rule number 4, the weaponized vacuum of the ego. We now enter the most dangerous realm of psychological dominance. The talkative masses falsely believe that silence is merely a passive shield used to hide from conflict. They do not understand that when structured correctly, the void becomes an aggressive, crushing offensive weapon. In Rule 3, you used a brief phrase to deflect an attack. In Rule 4, you strip away words entirely. You use oppressive physical presence and sustained eye contact to systematically destroy the opponent's sanity from the inside out. Human beings harbor a primal terror of social ambiguity. In behavioral psychology, this is known as intolerance of uncertainty. When an aggressor launches an attack, their brain anticipates a feedback loop, either submission or counterattack. When you deny them both, you break their cognitive loop. You create a psychological abyss, a suffocating vacuum of dead air. The human ego is a starving animal that demands feedback to exist. When deprived of your response, the aggressor's dopamine system crashes. Their internal security fractures. Under the unbearable weight of the void, their brain panics and begins projecting their own hidden guilt, insecurities, and incompetence onto your blank canvas. Deploy the weaponized vacuum to force public self-incrimination. Imagine you are in a team meeting, and a manipulative manager falsely accuses you to shift blame. This project failed because you didn't manage your time properly, isn't that right? Do not deflect verbally. Do not utter a single syllable. Step into apex physical stillness. Lock your eyes directly onto their pupils. Do not blink. Do not shift your weight. Do not even alter the rhythm of your breathing. Let the dead air expand between you like a crushing wall of ice. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Watch with detached, clinical curiosity as the gravity of the void crushes their nervous system. Under the unbearable, suffocating pressure of your unblinking gaze, they will not be able to endure the silence. Their ego will cannibalize itself. They will break the silence first. They will begin to stammer. They will attempt to answer their own question. They will rapidly backtrack and negotiate against themselves right in front of the entire room. I know the marketing team also missed their deadline, so maybe it wasn't entirely your fault. You did not raise your voice. You did not present a single piece of evidence. You did not utter a word. You simply held the void open with your eyes, and watched as their own desperate ego consumed itself in front of you. You have won the war, because you were the only one who truly understood the board. Observe quietly. Speak less. Subscribe to Noble Habit to master mental fortitude and human psychology.